What is bandwidth? Every line has an upper limit and a lower limit on the frequency of signals it can carry. This limited range is called bandwidth, or the maximum amount of data transmitted over an internet connection in a given amount of time. Bandwidth is often mistaken for internet speed when it's actually the volume of information that can be sent over a connection in a measured amount of time, which is calculated in megabits per second, or which is known as MBBS. What are the types of transmission media? Signals are usually transmitted over some transmission media that are broadly classified in two categories. The first one is the guided medium, the second one is the unguided medium. Guided media. These are those that provide a conduct from one device to another that include twisted pair, coaxial, and fiber optic cable. A signal traveling along any of these media is directed and is contained by the physical limits of the medium. Twisted pair and coaxial cable use metallic that accept and transmit signals in the form of electrical current, whereas the optical fiber is a glass or plastic cable that accepts the transport signals in the form of light. Unguided media. This is the wireless media that transport electromagnetic waves without using a physical conductor. Signals are broadcasted either through air. This is done through radio communication, satellite communication, and cellular technology. What is Project 802? It is a project started by IEEE to set standards to enable intercommunication between equipment from a variety of manufacturers. It is a way for specifying functions of the physical layer, the data link layer, and to some extent the network layer to allow for interconnectivity of major LAN protocols. It consists of the following: 802.1, which is an inter-networking standard for compatibility of different LANs and MAN across protocols. 802.2, logical link control, which is the upper sublayer of the data link layer, which is non-architecture specific, that is, which remains the same for all IEEE defined LANs. Media access control, MAC, is the lower sublayer of the data link layer that contains some distinct modules, each carrying proprietary information specific to the LAN product being used. The modules are Ethernet LAN 802.3, Token Bus 802.4, Token Ring 802.5. 802.6 is Distributed Queue Dual Bus, designed to be used in MAN. What is Protocol Data Unit? The data unit in the LLC logical link control level is called Protocol Data Unit. So the Protocol Data Unit contains four fields: a Destination Service Access Point, DSAP, a Source Service Access Point, SSAP, a control field, and an information field. DSAP, SSAP are addresses used by the LLC, means logical link control, to identify the protocol stacks on the receiving and sending machines that are generating and using the data. The control field specifies whether the PDU frame is an information frame or a supervisory frame or an unnumbered frame. What are the different types of networking or internetworking devices? We have four different types of networking or internetworking devices. The first one is the repeater, also called as a regenerator. It is an electronic device that operates only at physical layer. It receives the signal in the network before it comes weak, regenerates the original bit pattern, and puts the refreshed copy back into the link. The second one is the bridge. These operate both in the physical and data link layer of LANs of same type. They divide a larger network into smaller segments. They contain logic that allow them to keep the traffic for each segment separate, and thus are repeaters that relay a frame only the side of the segment containing the intended recipient and control convention. The third one is the router. They relay packets among multiple interconnected networks, that is, LANs of different type. They operate in the physical, data link, and network layers. They contain software that enable them to determine which of the several possible paths is the best for a particular transmission. The fourth one is the gateway. They relay packets among networks that have different protocols. Example, between a LAN and a WAN. They accept a packet formatted for one protocol and convert it to a packet formatted for another protocol before forwarding it. They operate in all 7 layers of the OSI model. What is ICMP? ICMP is Internet Control Message Protocol, a network layer protocol of the TCP/IP suite used by hosts and gateways to send notification of datagram problems back to the sender. It uses the echo test or reply to test whether a destination is reachable or responding. It handles both control and error messages. What are the data units of different layers of TCP/IP protocol suite? The data unit created at the application layer is called a message. At the transport layer, the data unit created is called either a segment or an user datagram. At the network layer, the data unit created is called datagram. And at the data link layer, the datagram is encapsulated into a frame and finally transmitted as signals along the transmission medium. What is the difference between ARP and RARP? The Address Resolution Protocol, ARP, is used to associate the 32-bit IP address with the 48-bit physical address used by a host or a router to find the physical address of another host on its network by sending a ARP query packet that includes the IP address of the receiver. The Reverse Address Resolution Protocol, RARP, allows a host to discover its internet address when it knows only its physical address. What is the minimum and maximum length of the header in the TCP segment and IP datagram? The header should have a minimum length of 20 bytes and can have a maximum length of 60 bytes. What is the range of addresses in the class of internet addresses? We have 5 classes. The first one is the class A, which starts with 0, 0, 0, 0, and it has a maximum value of 127, 255, 255, 255. The class B has a range with 128.0.0.0 and ends with 191.255.255.255. The third one is the class C, which starts with the range 192.0.0.0 and ends with 223.255.255.255. The fourth one is the class D, which starts with the range 224.0.0.0 and ends with 239.255.255.255. Then the last one is the class G, which starts with the range 240.0.0.0 and ends with 247.255.255.255.